So good, family so straight. What you talking about? I ain't gonna relate, cause you talk up, no you talk down. Got it though, yeah. Gotta eat, gotta pray, that's God.
Ooh, what's going on, people? Welcome back, man. Got another dope video for y'all today, man. I know you're probably like, bro, we getting these videos back over here, man. I just wanted to surprise y'all, man, with something dope, man. I made. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to Hood Chronicles, man. I miss doing these dope ass videos, bro. Giving y'all something to watch, man. Giving y'all something to enjoy. We all can watch and just learn something new. If you haven't known, now you know, man. Hood Chronicles, shout out to bro once again, man. This video, the link to this video will be in the description, bro, so y'all can click on it and go check it out on his page, man. Make sure you subscribe over here too, bro. Let's see what we about to watch today, man. What's this, bro? Because I've been going for a little minute off bro page, bro. Shout out to everybody that's just been putting in your requests, bro, for music, man. Clay Roueche, BC's King of Bud. You and founder, man. When it said Bud, I was like thinking of like, ooh, okay, King of the Bud. BC's King of Bud. You and founder. Now, I don't know who this is, bro, but I got a good feeling we're about to figure out who he is, what he do, what he about, a little bit of everything, bro. I ain't even gonna talk, bro. Let's go ahead and get straight into this thing, man. And I got my little pen today with me. I love this little gadget, bro. It's perfect, bro.
Notorious gangsters. Clayton Roueche, he is an accomplished businessman. He did have a sophisticated business plan, and had he been a legitimate businessman, he could have been very successful.
Roueche bragged his associates harvested 1,000 pounds of pot a week. He claimed to know every pot grower in the country.
Cross-border drug drops, photos of evidence, bullets, bling.
He was the leader with a capital L. And
hey,
you're gonna take
all of that shit just for some weed, bro. Y'all doing all of that for some weed, bro. And it's crazy how like now it's legal, bro. You can go buy it. So like everybody that got locked up off of weed, and shit shouldn't even be in your record. You shouldn't even be in jail for it.
down, you have to start at the head, and that's what they did here.
Hey guys, in today's video we'll be talking about a BC gangster who turned the lower mainland's drug trade into a sophisticated business enterprise and founded one of the most notorious gangs in Canada, even extending his drug operations beyond the Canadian borders using bold transportation methods like trains and even helicopters. We are talking about British Columbia's infamous gangster, Clayton Roueche, also known as British Columbia's King of Blood. Although his drug trafficking operations would become a headache for law enforcement officials in 3 different countries, his story begins long before all of them. Clay Roueche was born and raised in a middle-class family in Chilliwack, BC. His father owned a wrecking business, crushing cars for a living. But Roueche wanted something more than crushing cars. As a kid, he was hanging out with Vietnamese Canadian kids, and while in high school, he developed a fascination with Taekwondo. He started practicing in his basement and went on to become a black belt before turning 15.
Hey, I was learning that shit too, nigga. But I don't think I was ever a black belt. I think I was like a beginner's color belt, like black, white or some shit. I'm not sure, but it definitely wasn't black, bro. I used to do backflips, like. I was like energetic as fuck when I was little, man.
Interest in Asian communities and culture increased with time, and he made friends from multiple ethnicities. He was drawn to everything that was Asian, from the fortune tellers to the girls and even gangs. One of his Korean friends had remarked, quote-unquote, Clay was never white. Maybe he was born white, but his soul was never white. He started to believe that he was a reincarnated Japanese samurai. After completing high school in 1993, Roueche got involved in the streets where he developed.
Hey, shout out to all the 93, bro. I was born in 93, bro. This nigga completed high school when I was born, bro. That's crazy.
Friendship with a Vietnamese crime figure named Vu, who was an associate of the infamous TRIADS. Roueche admired Vu and described him saying, quote-unquote, he was the type of guy who did what he said he'd do, and I respected that. He wasn't a paper tiger. Roueche thought of Vu as his Dai-Lo, a Chinese phrase for big brother. It was Vu who introduced Roueche to dealing drugs. Initially, he was hustling cocaine for the TRIADS, but he had eyes on a much bigger business. In addition to Vu's influence, it was a booming drug trade in the 90s that opened up the drug dealing path for Roueche. BC's marijuana output in the 90s was a bigger industry than even agriculture. Roueche had known guys from high school who were growing pot and understood that there were huge profits to be made if you could trade it on a bigger scale. He floated the idea.
93, bro, like, I don't know, I can't even imagine what the weed was like back then, bro. Like, probably not like the shit we got now, definitely, but Probably not too far from it, bro.
BC's potent marijuana for cocaine to Vu, who found the proposition to be too risky. However, Roueche started to turn his idea into reality. According to Roueche's father, he had a magnetic personality and he liked living on the edge. It was indeed the charm of his personality that helped him in forming some of the most meaningful connections in the drug world. He drove up to Silicon Valley, the biggest pot-growing region in BC, and met with the pot farmers. He assured them that he will buy all that they can grow and paid them up front. After setting up those connections, Roueche teamed up with some buddies from high school and his friends from the Asian communities to set up a team of drug dealers. That was the formation of his gang, which later became the UN gang, when a friend saw his multi-ethnic associates at a party and remarked, quote-unquote, "What the fuck is this, a United Nations meeting?" The gang didn't have rankings from the start. Roueche himself claimed that he didn't see the gang members as his inferiors and thought of them as partners. It was a model based on the TRIADS, where the members just took the blessing.
Wait, this British dude got all these Asians working for him, bro? It's crazy.
Low and started operating on their own. Through all of this, Roueche's ambitions were also growing. As he himself told reporters, quote-unquote, "I wanted to be the biggest drug dealer in Canada. I wanted to make history." The UN gang members were living large without too many risks, but that was about to change. The late 90s was a...
My bad, John. I said full of Asians. I'm about to say, nigga, that's bro. Nah, I see some Caucasian. I don't see that one black dude, but it's full, bro. Like, bro, can't do it.
But that was about to change. The late 90s was a time in BC when the Canadian law enforcement was dealing with Indo-Canadian gangs popularized by the likes of Bindi Johal. The drug trade was becoming more and more lavish, and many up-and-coming gangs were looking to establish themselves. Roueche's quick rise and bold methods had made him a target. He survived a nightclub shooting in Vancouver, and that's when the rankings started to fall into place in the UN gang with Clay Roueche at the top. The gang started recruiting more members, and the initiation ceremonies for new members became more and more elaborate. Members were presented with beads, rings, and t-shirts to incorporate them into the gang. Just like the Triads, the new recruits were expected to pledge allegiance to the 36 oaths and follow the Chinese warrior philosophies. Roueche also came up with the UN logo.
Yeah, because he did say he felt like he was like a warrior type shit. So like, honor, loyalty, respect. Okay.
And a new motto that goes honor, loyalty, and respect. The UN gang became a major player in the criminal world after a run-in with the infamous Hells Angels in the year 2000. The UN gang members beat up the Hells Angels and expelled them from a club that they perceived as their own. Roueche and the gang's reputation grew after the incident, and their operations also expanded. Roueche had also built up connections with the notorious Sinaloa cartel in Mexico.
I knew it!
The famous
Something was like, bro, this nigga's gonna connect with Pablo and like Escobar or some shit, bro. But he's just fucking with weed though, it's not like he's dealing with cocaine.
For cocaine to be imported into Canada and the US. Roueche started bragging about knowing every pot grower in BC and that his contacts grew 1,000 pounds of pot every week. He even started growing plants himself and assigned teams to look after the dope. At his peak, Roueche was laundering $500,000 to the US in drug profits every week.
Never mind about
he was also moving hundreds of kilograms of dope across the Canadian border. With operations of that magnitude, the transportation methods needed to be quick too. So in a highly daring move, his gang used helicopters to move in and out of US territories and drop drug shipments from the air. The pilots used for the operations were often unlicensed, and the helicopters flew under the radar to avoid detection. Using helicopters, float planes, and tractor trailers, he was reported to be moving an estimated 20 tons of weed a year into the US. Roueche's businesses didn't just stay limited to drugs.
So if some weed came through around that time, you probably got it from bro right here, this British dude. Not the plug cry, he just ended up having, oh yeah, I got that thing, yeah, you got that shit from Clay.
Then got into weapon trafficking. In a police wiretap, he was caught using the code words, the things I really liked, referring to the guns he wanted to be shipped back to Canada. He also wanted to use bigger aircrafts instead of helicopters to smuggle drugs across the border. Later on, Roueche called these flight operations to smuggle drugs his biggest mistake. I'll talk more about why a little later in the video. In Vancouver, Roueche and the UN activity were inspiring other young Canadians to enter the drug trade. The most prominent of these up-and-coming gangsters were Abbotsford's Bacon Brothers. The brothers rose to prominence in the mid-2000s and gained notoriety for their ruthlessness and aggressive takeovers of dial-a-dope operations. Roueche thought that the Bacons were bad for business. The brothers had initially started drug operations in cooperation with some UN gang members, but towards the end of 2005, they switched allegiances to UN rivals, the Red Scorpions. From 2005 to early 2006, Some of Roueche's shipments had been intercepted by the US police, and he had lost 2 helicopters and almost $2 million.
See, this is where the shit goes down, bro. It's like when this shit happens, bro, it's like, okay, it's time to just stop, bro. You done made millions and millions of dollars. Niggas don't know when to stop, bro. Feds done hit your shit one time. You like, all right, we straight. Let's just keep on. No, this is time. That's a warning, bro. That's a warning, man. But anyway, man, we're gonna go ahead and jump to part 2. Y'all get you something to eat, bro. You know something, man, because this shit's about to get real.
So good, family so straight. What you talking about? I ain't gonna relate, cause you talk off, no you talk down. Got it though. Yeah. Gotta eat, gotta pray, that's God.